What up, people? It's your boy, Mr. Noland's back. Not a chef anymore, it's just Mr. Noland. Alright, guys, I'm going to start off with a joke. Hopefully it's funny. I find it funny because I feel I'm a funny person. But, hey, what did the chicken say to the scared chicken? He said, "You're a chicken." Wow, that is probably the best chicken noise you've ever heard before, right? Alright, so here we go. Solving two-step equations. Okay, when you're solving two-step equations, there's obviously two steps you do. The first step you are going to do is either add or subtract. Then your second step would to be either multiply or divide. Okay? Now let's look at this first one. When you're solving two-step equations, the first thing you're trying to do is you're trying to isolate the variable. So you're trying to get the letter all by itself. So what I teach the students is you cover up the number and the variable it's attached to. Well, now look, what attached to it is this plus 10. How do you zero out a plus 10? What is the opposite operation of adding 10? Well, subtract 10. What you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side. Now the 10 minus 10, that zeroes out. It's gone now. The equal sign comes down. 2 take away 10. Well, 2 take away 10, isn't that negative 8? That 4x now, did I touch it? Nah, bring them down. Oh, now look at this. We got a one-step equation, don't we? The 4 and the x are multiplying together. What is the opposite of multiplying? Divide. Well, let's divide. Divide both sides by 4. The 4's here zero out, which leaves you with your x. It leaves you with your variable. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 8 divided by 4 is 2. Alright, so the answer here is x equals negative 2. Now it says to check your work. So I'm going to rewrite the equation. We have 4x plus 10 equals 2. So we said x equals negative 2, so let's plug it in. So 4 times negative 2 plus 10 should equal 2. Well, let's check. A positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times 2 is 8. Bring down the plus 10. Well, guys, what's 10 minus 8? Well, isn't that just 2? Is 2 equal to 2? Well, yes, it is. So my solution works. Bam, we're good. Alright, so let's check out the second one. We have negative 3y minus 5 equals 10. Y'all need to stay in here and eat your donuts, okay? Alright, go ahead and get them. Once you finish, then you can go ahead and take off. Alright, so again, start by covering up the number attached to the letter. Now look, we have this minus 5. How do you zero out a minus 5? Well, you add 5 to both sides. Again, once you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side. So the 5 minus 5 zeroes out. It's gone. 10 plus 5 is 15. Again, the negative 3y, did I touch it? Bring it down. Well, look at this now. We got a one-step equation again, don't we? The negative 3 and the y, they are multiplying. So what's the opposite of multiplying? Divide. So divide both sides by the negative 3. So here we go. The negative 3 zero out, which leaves you with y. A positive divided by a negative is a negative. 15 divided by 3 is 5. So your answer is y equals negative 5. Again, let's double check to make sure it works. Rewrite your original equation. Negative 3y minus 5 equals 10. Plug in your y value for where you see y. So negative 3 times negative 5 minus 5 equals 10. Well, a negative times a negative is a positive. 3 times 5 is 15. So now we have 15 minus 5, and is that equal to 10? Let's see. 15 minus 5 is 10. Is 10 equal to 10? Well, yes it is. So my solution works. Now guys, when you're solving two-step equations, you're going to have one solution and one solution only. There's no other answer that will work. This is the only answer that will work. All right? Well, let's look at this other one. Oh, would you look at this? They have my variable on the other side of the equal sign now, don't they? Well, guys, if you ever see a problem like this, guess what? Just rewrite it. So I'm going to rewrite it as 2/3 n plus 1 equals negative 7. Guys, there's no tutoring this morning. Alright, so start by covering up your variable attached to the number. What is the opposite of adding 1? You subtract 1. The 1 take away 1 zeroes out. It's gone. Now notice here, negative 7 minus 1. Aren't those signs the same? So keep the sign, add the numbers. So you now have a negative 8. Did I touch that 2/3 in? No, I did not. Alright. Well, if you notice now, this shows we have 2 divided by 3n. So what you're going to do is you're going to do the opposite of that. So the opposite of dividing would be to multiply. Now really fast, when you have a fraction that has a numerator greater than 1, all you do is you take the reciprocal, which means you take the opposite. So the opposite of 2/3, well actually I shouldn't say opposite because that would be negative 2/3. So the reciprocal, just flip the numbers. So multiply by 3/2. The reason being, what's 3 times 2? Well, that's 6. And 2 times 3, that's 6. 6/6 would reduce to 1, so I'd be left with n. So if I multiply this side by 3/2, I have to multiply by this side by 3/2. This side over here will zero out. It's gone. And it leaves me with my n. What's a negative times a positive? Well, that's a negative 24 over 2. Last step. What's a negative divided by a positive? Well, that's a negative. And 24 divided by 2 is 12. There's your answer. Now let's see if we can plug it in to see if it works. So we have 2/3 n plus 1 equals negative 7. Plug in your n value. What's a positive times a negative? Well, that is now a negative 24 over 3. All I took was my n value and multiplied it by numerator. That's how I got negative 24. And I put it over my 3. What's a negative divided by a positive? Well, that's a negative. 24 divided by 3 is 8. You owe me $8 and you pay me back 1. Well, doesn't that mean you still owe me 7? So look at that. Negative 7 is equal to negative 7. That solution works. Man. Alright, last one. Start off by covering up your variable attached to a number. Cover it up. How do you get rid of that plus 2? How do you zero out? You do the opposite operation. So the opposite of adding 2 would be to subtract 2. 2 minus 2 zeros out. 4 minus 2 is 2. Again, I haven't touched that x over 6, so bring it down. Now notice this time, my numerator is just a 1, right? So this one's easy. All you do is you multiply both sides by the denominator. In this case, my denominator is 6. Again, what you do to one side of the equal sign, you must do to the other side. So these two 6's zero out. And what does that leave you with? It leaves you with your x. And what's 2 times 6? 12. So x equals 12. Let's check. Again, rewrite your equation. Plug in your x value for where you see x. Do the math. 12 divided by 6 is 2. Is 2 plus 2 equal to 4? Well, 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 is equal to 4. Oh, it works. Man. Alright, guys. This is how you solve two-step equations. Alright, guys. I hope this video helps you. Have a great day, and I will see y'all later. Noland is out.